Hello my friends, and welcome back to another video, or welcome if you are new. My name is Erin and we have a very fun video today. I am doing a little collaboration with Jan, or Jan Agaton, here on YouTube. If you don't know, she has a series where she reads her friends' worst books to try to find books that she really likes. So the goal is to find hidden gems in her friends' least favorite books that they've read. It's called Do Your Worst and it's so much fun. I'm sure you've seen it, but if not, I will link Jan and her series down below so you can check it out. I have been dying to be invited to collab for this video series, okay? But Jan and I agree on so many books that it's so hard to find enough that we disagree on. It finally got to a point where we disagreed on enough that she was like, okay, we can do the series confidently. So I have 5 books here. I'm not gonna read them all. I'm actually filming this in the future, so I've already read the books, but I mood read these books because I just didn't know which ones I was in the mood for, and so I just kind of like picked out of the stack that I had for her. So I don't read all of these. I think I read 3 books and that's it. But I love Jan. I love this series that she does, and I'm so excited to be reading some of her worst books to hopefully find books that I like, and just to read some books off my TBR, because I mean my TBR is out of control, so obviously I need to get some of these books read. So that is the goal of this video. I'm hoping to find some books that I like out of the ones that Jan doesn't like. Let's get reading and see what I think of Jan's worst books. Alright, so we have finished the first book that Jan gave 1 star. This is Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Seanan McGuire. This is the second book in the Wayward Children series, the first being Every Heart a Doorway. I read the first book, I think it was earlier this year. I included it in a video where I was trying to like fantasy, because if you've been watching my videos from this year, I have been dabbling in fantasy as a genre more in 2025. I want to read more of it. So I included Every Heart a Doorway in that vlog and I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4.5 stars. It was very weird but interesting, and I really liked the murder mystery aspect. It was a very weird little novella that I didn't expect to enjoy, but I can definitely see why people really love the series. So I went ahead and bought, I think, the next 4 books in the series. So I think, or maybe 3. Maybe I only have the 3 next books in the series. I don't know, but I was really excited for this one because everyone talks about this one and how it's like their favorite. I definitely see why. Now, I know Jan didn't like this. I have heard why she didn't like it. And I do think the reason I liked this is because I liked the first book more than she did. I gave that a 4.5. I think, what did she give it? Did she give it a 3? Why do I want to say she gave it a 3? Actually, I'm gonna check. Yes, she did give it a 3. So that makes a lot of sense. I think the reason I liked this one so much is because I already knew these characters a little bit, because you are introduced to Jack and Jill in the first book. This is just their backstory. This is what happened before you meet them in the first book. You learn a bit about the land that they get transported to when they enter the doorway. You get to learn a little bit about their upbringing and who Jack and Jill are as individuals, as well as how they are as twins, I think. And since I liked Jack and Jill already from the first book, I was very intrigued to start this one because I wanted to learn more of their story. So I think that's the reason I enjoyed this and Jan didn't, is because I already liked the first book a little bit more, and that's a really good starting place for the series, even though it's a really weird book. And the first few pages, I was not even first few pages, the first few chapters, and it's a short book. It looks just like this one. And the first few chapters were just like, I had no idea what the story was supposed to be. Everything with that first book really helped me be ready for this story, and it really knocked my socks off. I love Jack. I think Jack is one of my favorite characters. I mean, I know there are only 2 books I've read, but I do really love Jack. I love the world that they are in. I love that it feels very Frankenstein-y, but also has a hint of Dracula vibes in there. I like the imagery, the moors. I love the feeling. I don't know. I just found it really interesting. I thought Jack and Jill's upbringing was very interesting as well, because while it's hinted at in the first book that there's like some things going on with them, you don't really learn a lot about it. So it was kind of heartbreaking to hear their story. Their story is so sad. It's so sad. I was really just sad while I was reading this book, but I really do love this series. I think it's so interesting. I love the way it's written. It feels so, I don't want to say like mature, because I feel like that's a incorrect way of putting it, but it just feels so, it feels so impactful and intelligent while still being very readable and very short. I mean, these books are really easy to fly through, and I'm so enamored with these kids, and I want to know all of their stories, and I don't know, there's something about it. This one had a lot more of an emotional, I mean, that's not true, because the first book was emotional for me, but this one was almost just like a step above that in terms of like emotional connection for me. So I really love this. I'm gonna give it 5 stars, which is so funny that this is a book that Jan gave 1 star. I do feel like fantasy is going to be interesting because I don't really know where my taste is in fantasy, and I feel like Jan has such a better understanding of her and what she likes in fantasy because she's been reading it for such a longer time, and I'm so new to it that I don't really know what I like and what I don't like. I'm really just testing the water still and trying to figure out what works for me and what doesn't. But I do think something like this really works for me. So it is funny that something I really like in fantasy, she didn't. I can see why she didn't like it. I do understand like what she was talking about in terms of just not really like connecting, and she just felt bored. So like I get that, and I think that's what worked for me, and what didn't work for her is I felt super connected to this story. I do think it's very funny that I'm starting the vlog off with 5 stars though, because that either means that the rest of the video I will agree 100% with her, or we're up for a wild ride of like varying ratings and opinions. But I didn't want to pick all horror, so I do have some fantasy that I might throw in, this one being one of them. So yeah, I don't know how our taste is going to align or not align in terms of fantasy. Don't know what I'm gonna read next. I have to edit a vlog that I'm supposed to upload tomorrow, and by supposed to I just mean if I edit it in time, then that's when it's going up. But as of right now, I don't know what I'm gonna read next. I'm gonna edit and focus on that and getting the video done first, and then I will pick from my pile of possibilities and determine what is calling to me next, because I'm really mood reading through my pile of possibilities. I don't want to just pick them just to pick them. I really want to read the books. So yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna read next, but you know, off to an interesting start, off to a very interesting start. So I'm excited to see what comes next. I'm so sorry if you hear construction. They're working out back and it is so loud and I hear them every single day. So believe me, if it's annoying for you, it's like 70 times more annoying for me. But I finished This Wretched Valley. So I didn't love or hate this book. I feel like why? Okay, I need to stop talking about the book before I talk about the plot. Let me tell you what this book is about. So we're following this group of people and there's this guy named Clay who's using this machine to find untouched cliffs in Kentucky. And he uses this system, he found something, and he's like, oh my gosh, if we go to this place, we're gonna have so much information. My PhD dissertation is gonna be so good because I'll have like proof that I went and we explored and whatever. He enlists the help of several people. One is Sylvia. She knows a lot about like plants and stuff like that, so he brings her along to help. He brings along his friend Dylan, who I believe he met in like undergrad, and she is a rock climber and she's currently like trying to make it her profession, so she's like trying to become a professional climber. So he invites her to come, and of course she's interested in this because if she climbs a rock that no one else has touched, that will like make her career. They also invite her boyfriend Luke, and he brings his dog. So they all set off to go to this area that is important but also like really closed off and like no one knows about, and it's like you know, they're going there for like research purposes, and when they get there, the dog is just like telling them not to go, but they of course persist, and when they get there, things get out of hand. I feel like this book, when I was reading it, it was trying to be like The Descent. So at first when I started reading this, I was like, oh, I really like The Descent. It's a good movie. I was like, this is going to be really interesting. But I feel like the more this book continued, it's less like The Descent and more like The Ruins, but with a twist. Now, this is one of those books where I hated literally every character. Except for Luke. Him and the dog were like the only two characters that I was like, okay, you guys, I wouldn't be mad if you two lived, right? Like the dog especially should live, but Luke, I was like, okay, if you live, I'm not like super mad. But everyone else, I was like, you should all die because you're all really stupid. You're all making terrible decisions. They're also self-centered too. Like this group, they're trying to do things for themselves. Like it's just a self-centered group of people because they're all doing this for the benefit of themselves. I didn't really care about like the rock climbing aspect because I don't know anything about rock climbing. I'm not interested in rock climbing. So that I was like, I don't really care about this part. So it was really uninteresting to me. I do feel like if it was in the winter time, I would have liked this book more because the element of snow and like freezing temperatures and everything else going on, but with like that, I feel like it would have been more interesting, but I digress because the rest of the book takes a wild turn, and I don't think the element of snow or freezing temperatures would actually do anything for the rest of the book. So I think it would have only been cool if the book stayed like a climbing kind of book, but because it takes a different direction and it goes in a weird path, I don't think it would have been necessary for that. I think the author was trying to do too many things. I think the author was trying to do like The Ruins, but their own spin on it, but it just became kind of weird, and I wasn't that like invested, and I was like, okay, whatever, you know. So I don't know, I was just kind of bored, and I was just kind of over it, and honestly, I feel like this book could have been avoided. Like the whole plot of the book could have been avoided if they had listened to the dog and just been like, oh, you know what, the dog is freaking out, maybe we shouldn't go here. But they did not do that, so, you know, all the things that happened afterwards is their own fault. So it was like fine. I didn't find it very scary. Some of the gory scenes were pretty good. I did like that, but I think everything else I was just kind of like, okay, whatever. So I'm probably gonna give this 3 stars. I'm not that like mad I read it, but I'm also not like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing I've ever read. So I just fall somewhere in the middle. Yeah, it was fine. I can see why a lot of people like it. I can see why a lot of people don't like it. Yeah, it was fine. So the next book I'm going to try and read, this probably will be the last book I read because if you guys have been following me, I'm like 3 days away from getting married and we have a lot to do. So I'm going to hopefully get this read, and that will probably be the last book I read in this vlog. But this is With a Vengeance by Riley Sager. I know people really hate this book, but I have the unpopular opinion of most people with Riley Sager. I feel like I always feel differently than the majority. And the fun thing about this is this book is actually Jan's. I bought it off of her Pango, and she wrote a little note to me inside of it. So I'm actually reading a book from Jan in this vlog, which is very funny because this vlog is about reading Jan's worst books. So she did give this 1 star, but she also hated Middle of the Night, and I gave that like a 4.5, almost a 5, like a 4.75, because I really loved it. So again, I have an unpopular opinion on Riley Sager, so I feel like I could possibly like this at least more than she did. So that's what I'm going to be starting next, and I will update you probably halfway through since it's a bigger book. Friendly reminder to wash your makeup brushes if you haven't, because this is like a a lot of months of not washing my makeup brushes, and now look at how many I have. And this is gonna take me forever. So wash your makeup brushes. All right, I am halfway through With a Vengeance right now, and I don't hate this. I think it's very slow. It's a locked room mystery. They're all on a train. People are getting picked off one by one. It's very slow. It feels like a lot of things don't mean anything. Like it feels like one of those books where you're getting a lot of information but none of it feels important. So you're kind of waiting for the main meat of the story to like pick up speed and get to like the fun stuff, you know? I can definitely see why a lot of people don't like this, because it feels like a typical mystery, like a locked room mystery. If you've read one, you're probably gonna read this and be like, this is exactly like so many others I've read. I love a mystery. I especially like a locked room mystery, so I don't hate this. I am a little bored. I'm a little like, okay, you know, I'm like, it's kind of taking a bit, it's dragging a bit. I could, you know, I could get some spice thrown in. I kind of want to see things get a little bit more interesting, but people are dying now, so I'm kind of like, it has to get fun from here, right? Like things have to get a little bit more interesting, you know? The plot of the story feels very much like other books I've read. We're following this girl named Anna, and she has invited 6 people to this train because she wants to seek revenge. She believes these people have ruined her life, have torn apart her family, so she is doing this out of revenge, right? And so there's 8 people aboard this train. Anna, the 6 people she invited, and then she has someone like kind of like helping her out, like her sidekick, if you will. And I mean, that's basically what's going on, is they're all on this train. They find out why they're there, and now people are dying. I mean, it's not anything new, it's not anything different, it's not innovative. It's very much a mystery that you've probably seen before. So I do understand the negative reviews on it. I think they're a little harsh, but I do fall into the minority, you know, opinion with Riley Sager. This isn't bad in my opinion. It's fine. It feels like a 3-star. I think for me, when I'm reading a mystery book like this, I want it to be fresh. I want something to really, I want it to have a different spin that makes me excited, that makes me be like, oh, this author's taking chances. They're doing something different. They're doing things that I don't see all the time, and I find that, you know, interesting. I want that in a mystery, because I love a mystery. I love them. They're so fun. I find them entertaining. I find them easy to read. Like, I love a mystery. I think this just doesn't feel like Riley Sager to me. This feels like not a Riley Sager book. If you've read any Riley Sagers, you're gonna probably read this and be like, what book? Like, who? What? Who is this? What happened? Who wrote this? It just doesn't feel like Riley Sager. So, you know, I can see he probably wanted to do something different. He wanted to do a Agatha Christie-esque book, which, you know, is fine. I get it. A lot of authors tend to do that, right? They have a book that's not their usual kind of form. So I get it. Like, is this gonna be my new favorite Riley Sager? No, definitely not. I think it could win me over in the next, you know, few chapters to the end. I could see myself giving this 4 stars, because I do tend to give 4 stars to Riley Sager books. So I could see myself getting like pulled in a different direction, right? Like raising my rating, or it could just be a 3-star mystery. Like, it could just be a solid 3-star where I don't hate it, but I'm not obsessed with it. So really, it's really gonna depend on how this next half goes and how I'm feeling about it. Now, we're leaving tomorrow to go to the beach because we're getting married on Friday. It is Wednesday. It's Wednesday, like 6 o'clock. So tomorrow we're gonna be driving up to the beach. So I don't think I'm gonna finish this tonight, which I was really hoping to get this book read, but I just have a lot of stuff to do. We're packing, we're getting the apartment ready, just cleaning, making sure we have everything, like just little things, but things that we need to do. So, you know, this isn't my main priority right now. So what I'm hoping to do is, if I don't finish this tonight, I'll just finish it on the way to the beach. I can get the audiobook through Spotify and I'll just listen to it in the car and hopefully finish, you know, on the way. You'll probably get some very beautiful naturey, outdoorsy b-roll, and then the hope is that I can finish this vlog when I get to the hotel. That's my hopes. But you might get to go with me to the beach because otherwise I don't know when I'm gonna finish this, and I would like to finish it before Friday and get this vlog done because I do, you know, I'm on a little bit of a time crunch. So I'm gonna try to read if I can tonight, but if not, I will be listening to the audiobook and you guys will be going along with me to the beach, and that could be fun, you know, pretty, whatever. So yeah, as of now, that's all I have to say. I don't have many thoughts on this. Hopefully I'll have more when I finish it, and yeah, I'll update you hopefully soon. Alright, so I'm back home, I am married, and I have finished With a Vengeance by Riley Sager. I spent the last 40% of this book waiting for it to be over, but also I was listening to the audiobook. I was trying so hard to finish this before the wedding, and it just didn't happen. I didn't have time, one, but also I just wasn't that interested in the book that I was like, oh, there's so many other things to do. I can go to the beach and hang out with Justin and Letty and not read this book. So I definitely pushed off the last 40%. It took me a couple of days to get through it. I listened here and there, like getting ready for bed or just doing like little tasks throughout the day, but I just didn't listen for very long, so that 40% kind of dragged. I still stand by what I said before. I think this is a very average locked room mystery. I don't think Riley Sager does anything really unique or different. I don't even feel like this is a Riley Sager book. It feels just really different than his normal stuff, which if that's what he wanted to do and, you know, that's just how he felt about going about this one, that's fine. It just isn't really up my alley, which sucks because I do love a mystery. I was waiting for this to, I think, take a turn and get interesting, and it just never really did for me. Some of the twists were surprising, but Riley Sager has this thing where he does so many twists at the end. So it's like a twist here, and then it's, oh wait, just kidding, here's another one, and oh wait, here's another one, and here's another one. And it happens like 6 times before like the final twist is revealed at the end. And as someone who loves a twisty book, this just isn't something I enjoy. I want like a one really jaw-dropping, gasp-inducing twist, and I want it to just like smack me in the face, and that's all I want. I don't want like little tiny whiplashes and then it's over, you know. I don't know. So I do kind of hate the way Riley Sager ends a lot of his books, because I think he's trying to like do too much and it just doesn't really work out for him. But some of the twists did get me in this one. Some of them did. Some of them I was like, okay, that's not really a twist if you ask me. It's just something I predicted. So I don't know. I feel very middle of the road about this. I can see why some people absolutely loved it. I can see why some people absolutely hated it. I don't have really strong feelings either way. It just feels like I just feel meh about it. Like it's a very 3-star book. It's definitely not a new Riley Sager favorite of mine, but it's also not my least favorite by him. I feel like it's just a very middle of the road story. I just don't have many thoughts on it. I feel like I will forget a lot of it. I probably am forgetting a lot of it already, so I probably won't even remember it by the end of the year, which it's November. So, I mean, that doesn't say much about this book. I'm glad I read it, and I definitely didn't hate it as much as Jan did, so I'm not super surprised by that. We definitely feel opposite, I think, about Riley Sager's books, so I did have a feeling I wouldn't hate this as much as she did. I was just hoping I was going to like it a lot more than I did, and I didn't get there, so it was fine. It was okay. You know, whatever. Very interesting vlog. I got a 5-star and then 2 3-stars, so very weird and mixed bag of books. I feel like they all were kind of surprising in different ways. Some good surprises, some bad surprises. But I'm glad I was able to do this with Jan. I've been dying to be selected to be a part of her Do Your Worst series, but we agree so often on so many books that we had to wait until I was disagreeing with like at least a good amount of books that she's read before I was like, oh, finally I can be a part of this series now. So I am honored to be a part of this series. Thank you, Jan, for inviting me and having me be a part of this super cool series. I love watching these. They're so much fun. And of course, if you haven't seen Jan's video, it'll be linked in the description box. But yeah, I'm so happy I got to do this finally with her, and it was a lot of fun. So let me know if you liked it, and leave me a comment if you've read these books, if you have similar feelings, similar thoughts, agreed, disagreed, what have you. Feel free to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. We can become friends, talk about books, horrifying books, thrilling books, romance books, manga, fantasy, all that good fun stuff. And with that being said, I hope you're having a great day, night, morning, afternoon, wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!